There are many demands on the attention of your team and on you, but you need to be able to minimize those distractions so that your team and you can focus on producing the results that really matter. And here's the thing, you play a big part in minimizing those distractions. Here are 7 things you must do to minimize distraction when leading your team. Let's get started. As a leader, your leadership plays a big part in keeping your team focused on that one vision or keeping them scattered in multiple directions. I've come across leaders who keep coming up with ideas and changing direction, which leads to frustrations for their team. You see, implementing an idea takes time, while changing an idea is really quick. And so it results in wasted effort in time and productivity whenever a leader changes direction midway. Your team is observing you. If they see that you are very focused on that one direction, then so will they. But if they know that you are more likely to change your mind halfway through, then they're not going to put 100% into whatever they're doing, because they know that at some point you are going to change direction and they are going to be wasting their effort. And that is why you play a big part in keeping your team focused and on minimizing the distractions. If you are focused, so will they. If you are distracted, so will they. In your leadership journey, you and your team are going to come across challenges. Feeling negative about those challenges can stop you and your team from doing what is really needed, which is coming up with a plan and taking action. And so, as the leader of the team, you need to keep an eye out for any negativity that's going on in your team. And one of the best ways is to observe the action that your team is taking. When negativity has affected some team members, you need to move in quickly to take action. Understand what's going on, take corrective action when needed, and maybe even, in some drastic cases, move the team member out of the team or out of the organization. You then need to lead with more positivity, because positivity has been shown to improve productivity. And that's what you need when you want to minimize distraction in your team. So far, we've talked about how your leadership can minimize distraction. We've also mentioned that negativity can be a source of distraction and that you need to lead with positivity. Now, we need to look at the importance of having a vision. A vision is essential because it gives your team a clear idea of where they're headed, the direction that they're taking, and how they can contribute in moving towards that direction. You can then work with your team to come up with the individual parts that each of them can play. When you have a vision and you have worked out with your team the parts that they play, it becomes much easier to set milestones and targets for each of them to reach. And whenever they are confused as to where they're going, they can always look back to the vision and remind themselves of where they're headed. If you like the content that you see so far, make sure you hit a like, subscribe, and leave a comment in this video. It helps me to grow the channel. Thanks. As I've mentioned earlier, it's really good to have a vision because it gives you and your team an idea of the direction that everybody needs to take. But the reality is that sometimes you may not have a vision. You may not even have an idea of where to start. And this is where you need to collaborate with your team. You see, your team members have their own expertise and insights. They also have their own personal vision. Now, if you just come up with your own vision, sure, they'll get it done because they're paid to do so. But they'll always wonder, what do they then need to do in order to achieve their own personal vision? When you collaborate with your team, you come up collectively with a vision, and you also then have the opportunity to include as much of their personal vision as possible. That is actually to the advantage of your leadership and for the team members, because the team members then know that when they are working hard for the team vision, they're also working hard for themselves. And that minimizes the distractions as to what they're going to do about achieving their personal vision. When you have a vision and you also collaborate with your team members to include their personal vision into that grand team vision, it then makes it easier for you to work out the individual parts that each team member plays. And at the same time, once you're clear on those individual parts, you and your team member can work on the expectations that's required in terms of the results that need to be produced and how both of you can work together to stay motivated. So you see, in order to set clear expectations, your team member needs to know why those expectations matter, the impact that they have, and the value that they are giving to the team and towards the vision. You also need to have regular check-ins to ensure that the team member is progressing as planned. Clear expectations are important because sometimes along the way, team members may take on additional responsibilities that may not be core to the responsibilities that they are paid to do. So having these regular check-ins will allow you to keep your team member focused.